Now to test out an infectious tree tail.
Conifer Catapult.
Gesundheit.
Thank you.
What are you guys talking about?
Allow me to enlighten you. It's a slightly gross myth that, not unlike other slightly gross myths, comes directly from the fan site.
Please do go on.
All right, so the story goes that during the medieval castle sieges, attacking armies would use nearby pine trees. They would bend them back, load them up with bodies that had died from smallpox or the plague, launch them over the wall into the enemy's castle.
And at that point, people inside the castle would contract some lethal disease and ultimately be defeated.
Wow, so like the first biological warfare.
Exactly.
It's been a cartoon classic for generations, but how will it work in real life? They'll have to somehow attach a body to the top of a tree, pull back the tree without snapping it off, and then launch the cadaver far and high enough to clear a castle wall.
Blimey, it's a dead bloke.
What the bleeding hell was
The dead
that?
have risen.
Okay, so right off the bat, I think this is gonna be kind of difficult.
Why?
Well, think about it. For us to be able to fling a disease-infected body up and over some castle walls, we have to bend a tree back like this, and that's a significant distance. It could either break right at the trunk or even possibly completely uproot.
So it sounds like we need to find the elastic limit of a tree. Let's go to a tree plantation, find a nice, tall, straight tree, and bend it back until it breaks.
All right, well, once we've done that, let's take another similar sized tree, bend it back just before it breaks. Then we'll load up Buster, release the tree, and see if it has enough energy to send him over the castle wall.
Now, we can't just skip out to any old forest and start twanging trees. Jim Curry from Loggers Unlimited has 22 acres of mixed woodland already destined for chipping.
All right, well, we're trying to fling some diseased corpses over a castle wall, and we need some trees.
Ah, you come to the right place.
Didn't so much as bat an eyelid. Minutes later, Jessi tracks down a suitable specimen.
Guys, I found the perfect tree!
According to Jim, it's a California gray pine. That fits the bill perfectly because this myth specifically calls for a conifer.
Let's say you were the head of an invading army, and you came up with this crazy idea to use trees to fling diseased bodies over castle walls. Which type of tree would you use? The deciduous one, with all the curvy branches and the curvy trunk? Or the long, tall, straight, coniferous one? That's right, we're going with the coniferous one too.
After a crash course in climbing,
You'll get that thing good and tight.
Tory bravely heads to the heavens, 60 feet and more up the tree.
Why am I climbing it? Well, I need to get up here and tie a line so that way we can bend our tree down to the ground. We're gonna have a force meter attached to the line so that way we'll be able to read how many pounds of force it takes to get this tree down. And then that way we'll know what potential energy we're working with in order to fling our corpse.
Remember, this first test is designed to gather one vital statistic to see how far the tree bends before it breaks.
So I have the line tied to the top of the tree. It's time to hook in and bend this tree back.
All right, follow me. On the other end of that line is a giant come-along. Hopefully it's strong enough to actually break the tree.
Finally, we have a force gauge to tell us how many pounds of force that tree will take before it breaks. It's time to get cranking. Who's first on come-along duty? You are! Dang it.
In keeping with the myth's rustic nature, they're using a hand winch. Grant's the first to bend his arm and make a prediction.
As far as the amount of force it'll take, I don't know. Maybe 1,000 pounds? I'm not an arborist.
Slowly but surely, the pine starts to bend. Incredibly, this full-grown tree arches 45 degrees, and it's groaning under the pressure.
Wow, look at how far bent over it is.
But the force meter goes way past 1,000.
Creeping up on 1,500.
Well, it's bending, it's not breaking yet.
The rope still strains, but the gauge stalls at 2,000. That just might mean that this conifer is ready to crack.
Oh! Yeah! Whoa! That was dramatic.
It snapped like a twig, so they've now got the number they needed. 2,000 pounds of force should crack a medium-sized gray pine.
as soon as it got to that breaking point, there was like no warning. It was like one crank, two crank, and all of a sudden the tree cracked in half.
With that data in mind, they're now ready to see if a man can fly. A dead man.
All right, for our second tree, we found a very similar tree. So it's time to bring in the big guns. And this thing has a 40,000-pound winch on it, which is gonna make our jobs a whole lot easier.
In fact, with this near-identical tree, it's technology to the rescue all round. Tory's tree climbing days are over.
We have this bucket lift, but I mean, could you imagine climbing up a tree with a corpse that has smallpox and trying to attach it to the tree?
Yeah, who got that duty?
Buster's a dead weight.
Try not to drop him, guys!
So the boys are anxious to find him a perch as fast as possible.
All right, I hope he stays.
All right,
Let's go.
good luck, buddy.
Why are you wishing him luck? He's dead.
Even in death, there's no dignity for your professional crash test dummy. Still, they all have their parts to play.
Now Jessi is gonna be operating that winch. Grant will be watching the force meter. As soon as we get to the right pounds of force, he'll let me know, and then we'll release the rope, launching Buster. Now, we could use a quick release, but we thought, since this is a medieval myth, why not cut the rope with the sword? I know, it's a samurai sword. At least we're making an effort.
They're all hoping that Buster will soar like a pox-ridden pigeon. But there's always the chance that our man will in fact be a tree hugger.
This is tree bending. It's very unpredictable, so it's really hard to take a guess at what's really gonna happen.
The plan is to cut the rope when the gauge hits 2,000. That was the maximum force inflicted on the last tree before we shivered its timbers.
2,000 pounds.
The massive bent trunk looks like it could fling Buster into the next county. With cast and crew backed off to what they hope is a safe distance, Tory cuts loose.
Here we go! In 3, 2, 1!
Yeah, that is totally how they did it in the Middle Ages.
He fell out of that tree. He did not get launched like a catapult.
In fact, it's a total failure. Falling is not flying, and Buster's more dislodged than discharged.
This is where Buster landed, and we are literally 10 feet away from the tree. Now, I wouldn't call that much of a catapult, but just because we can't get it to work doesn't mean this myth is busted yet.
It sure doesn't. And you know they won't rest until Buster becomes airborne.
Well, we proved one thing. Gravity still works.
Going straight to full scale proved unproductive for those bent on flexing a tree and flinging a corpse. Now it's time to regroup.
All right, so that was a complete failure. Buster didn't launch, he plummeted straight down to the ground.
Yeah, I mean, we probably could have thrown him farther than he went.
Well, don't give up hope. I mean, that was our first try. We just went in and did it. We could be a little bit more scientific about it.
Go on.
Well, we could do some small scale tests where we vary the launch angle and see if trimming the tree makes any difference at all.
And we can use different types of trees to see which one does the best job.
All right, sounds like we need to get some small scale trees. I know, they're called saplings.
So the team orders in a sapling selection to see which one has more spring in its stem. There's a cedar, a fir, and a miniature redwood.
Just like threading a needle, a pine needle.
The first trial tree is a Douglas-fir, which Tory secures by clamping a collar to the base of the trunk. The collar, in turn, is fixed tight to the factory floor. Jessi prepares an action dude doll called Mini MythBuster and a custom-made launch plate to facilitate flight by reducing the friction.
We still need to give him a proper perch that when the tree actually hits its apex, the force will just continue to propel Buster as far as he can possibly fly.
And assuming that all goes to plan, Grant lays a scale that'll measure the distance.
None of this guessing. We're gonna get scientific about this.
Then adds a curve that should pinpoint the angle of takeoff.
And the castle is here. But it's not really the castle because it's too small and too far away, so it's more of a motivational tool. The data that we're really after is the comparative distance that each tree flings our mini guide, which we will mark with these flags.
And they plan to pull each of the test trees, starting with the Douglas-fir, back to exactly the same angle each and every time.
Okay, so we're at a 45-degree deflection.
All right, we are at 160 pounds of force.
That's a lot of oomph for that little tree, huh?
Yep. Grant, you in position?
Ready?
All right, launching in 3, 2, 1.
Nice. That's pretty far.
Now that's a result. Mini MythBuster has well and truly left the launch pad.
Douglas-fir number 1 was 160 pounds force and a distance of 16 feet, 9 inches. Next up, redwood.
So the team slides in the next contestant. A baby version of the majestic redwood.
All right, redwood tree set for action.
Time to see if there's any benefit to be gained from a tree change. Stretched back to the same angle of 45 degrees, the redwood is pulling just 60 pounds.
All right, Grant, you in position?
Ready?
All right, launching in 3, 2, 1. You went less than half the distance.
Not even close.
Our diseased doll made it only a third of the way to the castle wall.
A 60-pound load and went a distance of 6 feet. Next up, Alaskan cedar.
So now they've tried 2 of their 3 best bet conifers. Here's hoping the cedar can fling even farther.
All right, so far the Douglas-fir is ahead.
I do not think that this Alaskan cedar is gonna have much luck, though.
Yeah, but I think it'll be better than the redwood.
Definitely better than the redwood, but not near as good as the Douglas-fir.
How could it not do better than that redwood?
With the angle once more set to 45, the only key difference is the degree of resistance. The Douglas-fir pulled 160 pounds, and the redwood just 60. The cedar is showing 100 pounds. Still, let's see if we have a new winner.
All right, here we go. Launching Mini Buster in 3, 2, 1.
Ah! Woohoo!
The Catapult cadaver flew just 15 times its own body length, 10 feet on the dot.
Well, that makes perfect sense. I mean, we figured it would hit right in the center of the 2 first tests.
And that's exactly what it did. But it is still quite interesting on how 3 fairly similar trees are reacting completely different.
All right, well, before we pick a tree, why don't we look at the high speed and see if we can figure out why this is happening.
All right.
The first fling they check is the last one they flung, the Alaskan cedar.
The tree is released. He stays with the tree. As soon as it gets vertical, he's released. And that one, he was going
14.2 miles per hour, which is 20.83 feet per second.
Now for the recalcitrant redwood.
There's a lot less energy in this tree.
It seems less flexible, actually.
And he left the tree sooner.
The last replay checked is the day's big winner, the Douglas-fir. But watching the high speed gives Grant pause for thought.
Now, I'm wondering if we chop some of these limbs off, do you think we could get more speed?
Yeah. Also, if we cut off the limbs, it would cut down on the wind resistance as well. So, you know, we might get him to go farther.
Well, let's try it.
All right.
All right.
The jury agrees that the tree needs a haircut. And here's why it might work. One of the main jobs of branches is to balance the tree. When the wind blows, they wave and sway in every direction. So the opposite forces work in concert to keep the trunk stable. So to make a tree bend, it stands to reason we cut off the branches. That might be enough to turn this tree torpedo.
Nice.
Well done,
Now that's trimming a tree.
So let's see if it's worth all the effort.
Launching in 3, 2, 1.
The shot's so effective that Grant has to dance himself out of harm's way.
Dude, if you want to get a man inside the castle walls, that's how you do it.
That's how you get him through the wall.
The scaling is way too rough to draw real-world conclusions. But they can fine-tune the method to improve their chances back in the forest.
His trajectory, though, is definitely on a downward path.
Yeah, it sort of holds on to him past vertical. So maybe if we had a way to stop him before he reaches that point, like you know, like a catapult, where
Like
like
a tether.
that.
Okay.
Stopping tether.
All right, well, let's try that.
They got the distance, but not quite the height. A tether should stop the momentum just short of vertical. So if all goes to plan, this will be their best shot yet.
Ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Oh my God, he hit the back wall!
The tether works wonders, and our little guy's flight went right off the scale.
Amazing!
That couldn't have been more perfect. He had like the perfect launch and then the speed. Look how far he went.
All right, looks like we have our technique for launching this guy.
Now, all right. I know what you're saying. I can hear it through the TV. You're saying, but Grant, these trees are young trees. They're more flexible. They're not like the trees you find in the forest that we're going to use. I know. And that is why we're going to take all these ideas out to the forest and put them to the test.
Back at the scene of their last public failure, our corpse catapulters are buoyed by the fact that they're now more tree savvy.
Now, the last time we were out in the forest, we used a California gray pine. Unfortunately, that test was completely unsuccessful. So we went back to the shop and we found, using small-scale tests, that a Douglas-fir is going to be the perfect tree for this job. Well, guys, that right there is the perfect Douglas-fir.
And this layout is perfect. I mean, it gives us plenty of room to bend the tree back and plenty of room to throw Buster. Let's just get him up there and start flinging him.
Now, hang on a minute. We need a castle.
Oh, we got a castle. And I think you're gonna love it.
The castle's inflated exactly 100 feet away from the tree. That's the minimum historical distance we could verify between a fortification and a forest. To mark off the height of the parapet, balloons are deployed on the end of a 40-foot string. Then the team pulls together to strip back the branches.
Maybe we should have yelled timber.
Timber!
Might be a little late now. We just cut off the crown and you can tell already how much more spring this tree has. This thing might go far.
To help ensure Buster's smooth release, Jessi's built him a man-sized metal backplate.
All right, Jessi, what do you think? Think he's gonna release out of that tree?
According to all of our small-scale tests, absolutely.
With the body secured, the ropes are attached in the hope that our man can go the distance.
Beauty!
Now, as you can tell, there are two lines attached to this tree. We have the pull line and the tether line. Now, we learned from our small-scale tests that the best launch we're gonna get is if the tree stops just before vertical.
Good luck, Buster!
You're our only hope!
Buster hangs 70 feet above the forest floor. The castle's a clear and distant 100 feet out in front. It's the biggest tree on the lot, so if this won't do it, nothing will.
Okay, Jessi, the force meter's all set. You can go ahead and tension up.
We're gonna go at a really low speed so we don't jolt Buster out of the tree before he's ready to be flung.
Tory decides that the cord is best cut from up high.
Okay, we're at 1,000 pounds.
The tension mounts as the tension mounts.
We're at 2,400 pounds, that's it.
So we have the tree bent back, we're at 2,400 pounds, and that's it, it's maxing out. We keep pulling the tree back, and there's no more pounds of pressure. I think we're ready to launch this tree.
So it's all down to this. And remember that so far, Buster's done no more than fall off his perch. With a final flick of his samurai sword,
Here we go, launching in 3, 2, 1. Hi-ya!
against all predictions, Buster's arrived at the castle gate.
Yeah! Woo-hoo-hoo!
But he's fallen just short of infecting the enemy.
We applied everything we learned for the small scale. We cut off the limbs, we cut off the crown, we even tethered the tree. We cut the rope and Buster flew. We turned a tree into a catapult.
Tory's excited.
He didn't get over to the castle, but he made it to the front door.
But just how does one measure success? Sadly for him and us, we have set some benchmarks.
So let's look at this realistically though, guys. I mean, we gave this myth the best chance possible. We put a castle as close to a tree as we could find any historical reference for. And we cut off all the branches.
Yeah, by the time we do that, they would have picked us off from the castle. And not only that, we pulled that tree back to 2,400 pounds, as much as it could handle. How many ancient horses and troops would that have taken?
All right, but we did manage to turn a tree into a catapult. But as far as the myth goes, we weren't able to launch them 100 feet over a 40-foot castle wall. So this one's busted.
It's busted.
Busted.
We did get over the moat.
Oh yeah, and we have a bouncy castle.
Yeah!